Today I'm going to do a presentation on impromptu speaking. How many people are afraid to death of an impromptu speech? Anybody not know what an impromptu speech is? Because you're all students at Toastmasters, I hope that's correct. Obviously, an impromptu speech is the type of speech that requires you to get up at the spur of the moment and speak on a particular topic. Table topics is a perfect example. That is an impromptu speech. One of the things that fears most people about impromptu speaking is they will have nothing to say. One of the keys to understanding how to speak well with an impromptu speech is you have to listen. This works very well if, of course, you have something to listen to. So if somebody says, can you please come and give a roast? Can you please give an overview? Can you please give a discussion of something you've just heard? Listening when you should be is absolutely key. I was in a program the other day in which there was a presenter who was doing some fairly technical presentations and then asked the director of HR a question, and the director of HR just sat there. She had not only not been listening to the speech, she had no idea she had just been called on. And all of a sudden went, what'd you say? That is what frightens most people about impromptu speaking because, of course, they weren't listening. You never know when you're going to be called on to speak or give a comment. Have anybody ever had that problem before? Yeah, it's very, very disconcerting. Pause is a key to impromptu speaking. The pregnant pause is key to organizing your thoughts. If you don't know what to say, don't say anything until something comes to your mind. Just stop. Think about it for a minute. Look inquisitive. And then say what you want to say. They will never know unless it lasts too long, but hopefully it won't. You're simply thinking about what you want to say. And then confirm it. State exactly what you had said previously to conclude. Why? Because it makes people actually believe you know what you're talking about, even if you don't. At least you confirmed what you said is what you meant to say at the beginning and conclude at the end. Oftentimes I hear speakers say one thing up here and something completely different down here. It makes you lose credibility. And you assume that if you're asked to give an impromptu speech outside of table topics, which is meant to be impromptu, you're being asked to comment because someone respects your opinion, you're an expert, or something else. You want to maintain that. And then finally, tell those around you what you want to say and what you want to mean when you give that impromptu speech. I'm sorry. And then you have to make sure you end with a proper conclusion. Strategies. Express an opinion that you know something about. If you don't, it's much better to say, I don't know anything about this particular topic, than to actually go into something you don't. I've said that before. I actually don't know anything about this. I'm not an expert. It's okay. You're going to be respected more for doing that than you would be for failing to actually state something that is correct. Address cause and effect. If you're going to give an impromptu speech, oftentimes you're going to be asked to give an opinion on something. For example, Tim just gave a lovely speech on financial success and how to become financial. Cause and effect. Obviously, we have a cause. We have one group of people who are worth $40 million and can't make their bills. Probably overexpended. We know that. And a group that isn't, who's living the life they want to live. So, do you actually need the Bentley when you could probably get along with a Cadillac or a Lexus? Maybe, maybe not. What's the cause and the effect of exactly what you are speaking about? And break the topic into components, because that allows you to take little increments, which makes it much easier to think about. So for example, I was in a Toastmasters meeting yesterday and they were talking about, what is your favorite sports team? I hate sports. For me, it was much easier to break that into components, because then I said, well, I'm going to do something different. I hate baseball, and this is why. I hate football, this is why. And I hate basketball, and this is why. I know that's a funny way to think about it, but if you break a topic into individual sections as you're asked to speak to something, it's much easier to think. If you've ever been up here trying to give a speech off the spur of the moment, all of a sudden you're thinking, what am I going to speak about? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different topics. Just do one or two, and the ones you know about. And then discuss the past, present, and future of whatever that topic is you're going to be. First topic is history. So when you did your presentation, if that had been impromptu, you can talk about the past, the individuals who are worth $40 billion and their problems they're in. The present, how they got into that situation and what they need to do. But then the future, how did they get out of that situation? Now you had a prepared speech, but think about how if somebody had said to you, come in and do a presentation on financial awareness now, this moment. How do you break it into components so that it's easily understood going forward? And of course, the key for these is to be confident. You have to understand that when you walk up here, they are going to see all of your fears. I'm going to pick up where I am.
Okay.
Last week, she should have just come up and said, I'm going to do it. Don't show your fear, just do it. Because nobody would have known otherwise. And you did a great job. But to let the fear come in and start taking you over, it's going to show. It's better to stumble or make a few mistakes than it is to be fearful and not want to come up. That's why we're here in Toastmasters, to lose the fear. Be brief. Impromptu speaking should be like that. Anybody who asks you to walk up and do a 1-hour impromptu speech, you need to walk out.
Yeah.
An impromptu speech should be a minute, 2 minutes. It may be a toast, something very brief and simple. And finally, be sincere. You may want to inject humor in it. You may want to inject a personal story into it. But whatever it is, be sincere. Make sure that people know that you really want to be there and you appreciate the fact that they have requested your opinion. As we talked about Odette, smile. People really believe when someone smiles. It makes them feel as if they are liked and that you want to be there and you're glad to be with them. Impromptu speaking should not be difficult. It should not be scary. It should be something you revel in, because every time you do another one, you'll get better and better and better. Mr. Toastmaster.